You hear, in this area, you hear noises at night, I understand.
Oh, yeah.
That
Lots
aren't
of
cougar
noises.
noises, that aren't bear noises.
No. There's no noise to describe it, really, because I just never heard anything like it. Cougars don't make that noise. Bears don't. Elk or moose or whatever else around.
Something else is out there.
There's something else out there, okay.
The monster that Mrs. Baxter saw was 12 feet tall, as tall as these bushes behind me. Her story is similar to dozens of others told every year in this area about people who got fleeting glimpses of the Bigfoot.
As a reporter, what's your attitude about Sasquatch?
Well, I've been investigating these reports and so on, and it seems to me that there's a preponderance of evidence, and I'm, let's say, 95, 98% that there is such an animal. I want to see one, but I think there is.
Sheriff, you don't think that thing is a fake, right?
I think not. It has the possibility of being a real footprint.
What makes you think that might be a genuine footprint?
Well, as we discussed, in the locality that this was found, and the area in which we picked this out of was not in a wide open area in which somebody would have free access all the way around, but near this landing site where the trucks drove in was off to the side of the road.
If you assume that is a real footprint, that means that somewhere in your county you must have somebody that can make that kind of footprint.
That's very possible.
Now, I have never seen it, and I've hunted in the woods for years. But on the other hand, I've never seen a cougar. And I felt, and the Board of County Commissioners felt, that we should protect this animal and also the lives of our local citizens. People coming into the area with guns and shooting at everything that moves, we might have a fatality.
I was skeptical to start with from the first report we've got, but after having taken this cast, which seemed to be very authentic to us,
Something is out there.
I think so.
Welcome to our conspiracy cabin. I purchased this land a little while ago and I just thought, you know what, this would be the perfect spot to just dive deep into some spicy conspiracies. This is the first of many of our brand new series called Conspiracy Cabin. We're going to be diving deep into different conspiracies and there's going to be tons of episodes, so if you're new and you like this sort of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're new to my thing, don't forget to ring my goddamn ding. Now we're going to be diving deep into the world's arguably biggest conspiracy, Bigfoot. Now, I'm new to this kind of content, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and let me know down in the comments which conspiracies you want me to cover. I'd love to hear you guys on the thoughts of different legends, myths, and conspiracies, and today we're going to be talking about the Sasquatch. Real or hoax? It's about to get hairy. So it all started in 1958, all the way back, where it says journalist Andrew Gonzoli of the Humboldt Times highlighted a fun, if dubious, letter from a reader about loggers in the Northern California who discovered a mysteriously large footprint. Pretty spicy. Now he actually wrote, maybe we have a relative of the abominable snowman of the Himalayas, the abdominal? The abdominal? Now, he wrote that as a joke in his September 21st column alongside the letter, but later, Gonzoli said that he'd thought the mysterious footprint made a good Sunday morning story. So, surprisingly, it really fascinated readers. I mean, it was the 1950s. Anything's going to be surprising. In response, Gonzoli and fellow Humboldt Times journalist Betty Allen published follow-up articles about the footprint. Now, reporting the name, loggers had given the so-called creature who left the tracks all around the area where they was logging Bigfoot. And so, a legend was born. So what we found out so far is that in 1958, some loggers in the Northern California area had found a mysterious footprint left by something, or someone, and that's it. No sightings, nothing, only Bigfoot. Everybody knows about the Bigfoot conspiracy. Apparently there's like myths and legends all over dated back into the mid 1900s about Sasquatch-like creatures, like big hairy apes, you know, that sort of stuff. But some of these feel like fake in stories, you know, piggybacking off the original story we found in 1958. There's a guy named Joshua Blue Bow, And he says, and I quote, "There are various wild man myths from all over the world." Now, he's actually the author of Bigfoot, The Life and Times of a Legend. I don't think if you heard of it, I don't think I have. In Western origins, the word Sasquatch, but like modern US concept of Bigfoot, can be traced right back to the Humboldt Times, right back to the same story that we just found in 1958. So, again, it kind of concludes my point where everything's kind of piggybacking off of the same story that came out as just a funny Sunday story paper, you know? So we're kind of seeing a pattern here where all the stories come together for, you know, well, the Sunday Good Morning story. He said that people later go back and dig through like old newspapers and stuff, but he said that he just found scattered reports of a wild man here, like wild man there, and but it doesn't really coalesce with, you know, any general discussion until like the 50s. So going back to the loggers, this is where it starts to get creepy. Equipment and tools started to go missing and started being tampered with. They were actually starting to blame acts of vandalism as they were happening in the area on Bigfoot. So they were blaming Bigfoot for the vandalism. But a few journalists, including Betty Allen, they just thought they didn't really seem to believe in the creature, and it just seemed they were just passing along stories and myths and just having a laugh, a little bit of banter. But anyway, the story spread to the newspapers all over the country like wildfire, and even the popular TV show called Truth or Consequences. It says here in the 50s, they offered £1,000 to anyone who could prove the existence of Bigfoot. And back then, £1,000 was a lot of money, like, you know, a lot. But they had no luck. Never anyone captured it, no sightings of Bigfoot, nothing. Who is making the huge 16-inch tracks in the vicinity of Bluff Creek? Genzoli wrote, "This is one of the columns that October. Are the tracks a human hoax or are they an actual mark of a huge beast?" Genzoli wrote this in one of the columns that October. Are the tracks a human hoax or are they actual marks of a huge but harmless wild man travelling through the wilderness? Can this be some legendary sized animal? Who knows? Now we're starting to get into the conspiracy of it all. Once Bigfoot's story went public, it actually became a character in men's adventure magazine in like cheap trade paperback novels. In these stories, Bigfoot was definitely a he, like primal, dangerous creature out of the past who lurked in the modern wilderness. Oh, they really ramped him up. It's creeping me out. Now, by the 1970s, like pseudo documentaries were investigating his existence and like films were portraying him as like this sexual predator. Yeah, I know. Weird, but you know, it's the 70s, what can we say? Moving into the 80s, Bigfoot became a little bit of a celebrity where he showed his softer side. He became associated with environmentalism and symbolism of the wilderness. So basically they were trying to make him be a symbol so they don't, you know, keep logging, cutting down trees, which is kind of pretty cool. One big example is in 1987, the movie Harry and the Hendersons, which portrayed Bigfoot as a friendly, misunderstood creature in need of protection from a human family. Now, I've never seen that. Let me know if you've seen Harry and the Hendersons. It does look like fun, but yeah, I totally forgot that existed. Okay, so with the story and lore of how it all started out of the way, let's take a look at the events of the very first sighting of Bigfoot. So I'm actually going to open the journal up here, lads, because we have written quotes and detail of what they did when they found Bigfoot and what they saw. So in October 1967, Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin captured a furry bipedal creature ambling across the banks of Bluff Creek. Now, if you don't know where Bluff Creek is, it is in the Northern California where, you know, the whole Bigfoot thing started. Now, again, going back to all the conspiracies and other wild man stuff, this was the only time where they ever spotted Bigfoot. You could argue that there was other sightings and they found skulls and bones across the whole world, but we're just concentrating on this Bigfoot so far. Now, Roger Patterson was like no ordinary filmmaker. He just managed to film a shaky 60-second film of Bigfoot. You know, it was nothing special. He didn't do anything really before that either. During the 1960s, he developed an interest in Bigfoot. He and his friend, Bob Gimlin, traveled to Northern California to make his documentary film about the Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch. Okay, so they heard about this about almost a decade later. So a couple years later, they heard about this. They was just like, screw it, get the camera, lads, let's go video it. So he and his friend Bob Gimlin traveled all the way to Northern California to make a documentary film about the Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch. So they searched for several days on horseback until the 20th of October 1967. So they rounded a bend in Bluff Creek in the Six River National Forest. On the other side of the creek was a female creature about 6.5 to 7 feet tall, stand at the edge of the creek. Patterson's pony reared and he grabbed his 6mm camera and chased after the creature and filmed the entire thing. The creature walked into the woods and Patterson never saw it again. Meanwhile, Gimlin sat on top of his pony with his rifle cocked and ready.
When I first saw her, she was standing upright. I thought, you know, this is unreal. The way it was moving, the massive muscle. Roger had the camera up to his eyes, and he stumbled and fell. Where you can see the shakiness part. I rode across the creek. I got off the horse and took my rifle out of the scabbard in case I had to make a shot. She made that turn to look. Kept right on walking. She went on up out of sight up that canyon.
Whew, now that's sketchy. To be honest, for a camera this old, it's actually a pretty decent shot they captured, which makes it even more sketchy if you ask me. Now, it said that this clip is yet to be convincingly debunked after over 50 years. Okay, so I have 3 points trying to debunk this video, and we're gonna go through it together and see if you agree with me. Okay, my first point is that the way he looks and turns towards the camera, it's definitely sketchy. It feels like it's some sort of rubber suit, you know those old suits that you used to get? Because if I remember, when this footage came out, I think the first original Planet of the Apes movie, you know, with those monkey masks, you know what they look like. It kind of looks like that sort of get up, but I don't know, we can't see it for sure. But you would have to turn your whole body like this to look at the camera. It's not like he's just turned his neck. But I guess if you're a very muscly ape man creature, you're gonna have to at least turn your body to look. I don't know. I don't really think if that's a solid point, but you know what I mean? The movement just seems a little kind of wooden to me. Alright, this is my point number 2. The balls on these guys getting a clear shot out in the open is just so lucky. The perfect angle, nothing obstructing their view, there's no plants or leaves in front of even the lens of the camera. It's insane. Now, I know that's not really a concrete point, but it just seems weird that these guys, after all these years, you know, they wanted to search a Bigfoot, that they go all the way out there and they actually get it on camera. So, I don't know. They went out there, they got so lucky, it's like they won the lottery and there was just a hairy man taking a shower. Now, they even get Bigfoot to smile and look straight into the camera. It's insane. It's just, you know, guys, it was clear as day. Now, with today's tech, we can like stabilize the video and make it so clear. So I guess on that part, you could argue, but I don't know. But at least we can get a more in-depth, you know, look at the footage. And to me, it's too clean. Number 3, there's no penis. No guys, settle down, hear me out. Now, it said in their statement, I've only just realised why, but it says they saw a female Sasquatch. I don't know why they wanted to gender the Sasquatch, but I'm pretty sure it's because it doesn't have a giant penis. Now, here's my point, chat. I would be more convinced if I saw a male Sasquatch with a 10-inch schlong swinging in the breeze, just relaxing, chilling, just taking a stroll right past the camera. I would 100% concrete believe that it was real, because why would these guys strap a giant strap on to this? Why would a couple of guys take a giant strap on in the 60s and strap it to this man in a suit and say that it was fake? Now, I know the chances are like 50-50 of a male or a female Sasquatch, you know, coming across the camera, but you get what I'm saying. I'd more likely at least boost it to 10 to 15%. Mate, you know what? 100%. I'm telling you, chat, if I see a Sasquatch with a giant schlong, I'm gonna 100% know that no one would have wanted to have faked that. Alright, you know what? Moving on. Over the past 35 plus years since the beginning, there's been a lot of speculation about, you know, the authenticity of the film that Patterson created. Now, Patterson died in 1972, spending every penny he had. Continuing his search for the creature, Bob Gimlin remains adamant that there was no hoax involved and what he saw was the real creature. Now, apparently science does back this up, which is kind of weird. The excellent Sasquatch Legend Meets Science documentary recreates the footage using 3D computer simulation and details muscle movements under the fur. It's a possible hernia on the thigh of a creature in addition to the other details that precludes the hoax. Okay, so basically what they're saying is they can see abnormalities and stuff in the creature, and if it was a suit or if it was a hoax, it would be too clean and it wouldn't be that... You know what I'm saying? It's been 35 plus years and they haven't really seen any more of Bigfoot. I mean, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings out there, but this main one that started it all, what do you guys think? Why has the Bigfoot legend persisted over like 60 years? It just hasn't stopped. Everyone keeps talking about it. It never really goes away. I mean, when I was growing up, if you mention conspiracy, the one thing that pops into my head is Bigfoot. It's one of the reasons why Bigfoot is the first episode on this channel. Both suggest that no one really explains that characters who turns into wolves during a full moon are werewolves. You know, it's pretty standard. No one really needs to explain who a hairy man-ape walking out of the woods would be. It's just something that's easy to, you know, refer to. Buzz says that it would be Bigfoot. Now that is indeed sketchy. I personally think it was just a small good Sunday morning story like we found out in 1958 all the way to where it all started. I just think that it was a small conspiracy in the 50s that kind of snowballed into this giant conspiracy. Only when the first original story came out, that's when other signs of Bigfoot, like creatures, started like coming all over America. With today's tech, I think that we would have found something by now. I mean, infrared cameras, and let's also bring up those weird mountain monster TV shows where they relentlessly, year after year, a decade, 2 decades, they never capture anything on film. A stick cracks, they hear a noise. I tell you what, the only thing on those TV shows is that they actually found is that they have no dignity.
1,700 hours. No sighting of Squatch. Today, I'm trying to lay my peepers on old Mr. Bigfoot's area. Where you at, Mr. Bigfoot? Damn, I think I see a Squatch. It's only a chipmunk.
Anyway, what do you guys think? Did they really record the footprint and capture on film one of the biggest myths out there? Real or hoax? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed doing this deep dive on Bigfoot. I didn't actually know where it originated from. You just always think of Bigfoot, the hairy man-ape that came from the woods, but you never really think of where it stems from, if it's a good Sunday morning story, or if it's something that's just blown out of control. If you have a conspiracy that you want me to actually cover, let me know down in the comments, you know? It could be the pyramids, it could be aliens, it could be Roswell, it could be anything. Let me know. Now, before I go, if you are new, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you're into my thing, don't forget to ring my goddamn bell. I guess we'll see where the next episode takes us. Stay sketchy.
Just come to make sure your baby's okay.